Do you know that studies show?
Studies show.
Yeah. Let's see what the replies are on Twitter or on X.
Yeah, so
I feel the same. I feel the same way about that. But this is what studies have shown, and people will reply and they'll say that companies with more diversity in their leadership teams have reported higher innovation rates than those with lower diversity or low diversity, and they're better companies and they make more money. This whole idea about DEI, if you go woke or whatever, you go broke, that's not necessarily true. People with diverse leadership teams and diverse workers make more money and more innovative.
Like I said, my view is that the only basis for promoting somebody should be their skills, talents, and their integrity, and that's it.
So I think that was my first introduction to you. So I have no biases against you, but I probably didn't like you too much when you were at CNN.
Trump changed the game because he took on the media and trashed all the norms. So I appreciate you sitting next to me. You are whip smart and you have a great ability to communicate message. I think you have so much power in this dynamic. I don't like the way Forbes identifies you because I don't think that you play to black Americans. I still want to know why you came after me as much as you did.
Because I'm a dick, probably. Because it was easy.
But why me?
I don't know.
How can you not know? It was so intentional. It was so frequent.
Because people kept sending me videos from Instagram. It was me taking the cheap shots, which I'm not always above.
Did it feel good?
Say.
You loved it. You loved it, and it worked for you.
But I will say this.
And my in-laws watch you. Do you know how hard it is to deal with having your in-laws enjoy a joke that makes you want to, do bad things that are going to cost you civil litigation money? You don't watch TV and you don't pay attention to your social media about what's being said about you.
No.
That's why your hair is so full.
There's no evidence that standards are being lowered when it comes to the airline industry.
You've repeatedly said that there's no evidence that standards are being lowered, and watch the replies showing all the evidence that it is.
Replies, though, on social media or on Twitter are not necessarily fact and evidence.
No,
that's people's opinion.
They will cite in the replies to this. You will see how often the information is cited, showing that indeed there are significant cases where standards are lowered.
And I do hope that happens. I do hope that happens, and I look forward to it. And as you said, if you're wrong, then you're wrong, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
Yes.
Okay. So and I'm glad we're having this conversation, debating. This is what we should be doing, debating the issue. So if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and then that'll be proven in the thing, and you as well. But I just want to tell you that pilot that you talked about, in fact, was a woman pilot.
Not the #1 CNN watcher, but I do know that you're going to live by whatever you're saying right now, because if I can tell you one thing about Trump supporters, they're good on finding the clips and putting it side by side. Never look backwards and say, I have no regrets, nothing could change, I was great. I just question your sincerity, because I have regrets and changes about every chapter of my life. And so to hear you say that you have none.
But that's not what I said. Which is, of course, part of the problem.
You said a lot of words to say, I never said anything on a network. Things are being attributed to me that I never did. That's pretty much what your answer was,
But that's also the truth.
Okay.
I don't
Like I said, the Trump supporters are fast. Before we get up from this table, they're going to have something you said next to you saying that. I'm just telling you. That's why I always try to be honest.
Based on what you're saying, it sounds like you're open to the idea. And you were like, well, open, yes, and you kind of left it open, right?
Yeah.
Then, within 2 hours, you're trending on Twitter, and you're like, what the hell just happened here? And the trending topic was, Cuomo is voting for Trump.
Yes.
So then all your friends came after you saying how, so it was a wonderful, tell us about that day and what's changed since, did the mob get you to go back to Biden? So what happened with that the power people that called you? Did they bully you? What happened?
This was first of all, nobody bullies me. It was a nice exercise.
We're here, though. We'll protect you if they
Thank
do that
you.
to you.
I need it.
Yeah.
It was I need the protection from the lawsuits that result when I protect myself.
Old Twitter was fundamentally a tool of the far left. And that was really, I think, a lot of it was due to being located in San Francisco, Berkeley. And so it wanted to essentially project the SF Berkeley political dogma worldwide.
You think it was far left?
Yes, I do.
I used to I actually got off the platform because I would get so much hate tweets when it was called in, so much hate tweets and just guff from right-wing conspiracy theorists being called everything from, fag to...
Sure. It's the internet,
everything.
That people will do. I mean, I've been called every name times 1,000.
But you do seem, smart, I will say that, but very self-aware. And
That's new.
So I wonder if, having been fired and humiliated a lot, I've always thought that men need to be humiliated regularly, especially people who are successful, because otherwise they become totally unbearable. And I wonder if that's not the greatest thing that ever happened. It's good to be humiliated.
I think that you can find value in it. There's value in suffering. There's value in struggle. There's value in pain. In fact, I do believe that the things that have shaped my life, when I look back at what moments mattered and what moves mattered, what events, they're almost all negative.
Well, let me flip it around. Have you ever learned anything important from eating French toast in bed on vacation?
The old school Twitter suspended and suppressed accounts that you'd call on the right 10 times more than they did accounts on the left. And even when they did suspend an account on the left, it was because of arguments between two people on the left. The political donations of old Twitter were 99% Democrat. Does that sound left-wing or right-wing to you?
The Twitter donations?
Yes. When they look at donations from a company, if a company donates literally 99% of all donations are to Democrats, does that strike you as a left-leaning or a right-leaning
Oh, you
company?
mean the company donated. I understand what you're saying.
What I'm trying to tell you is that Twitter employees, people at Twitter, their political donations were 99%, literally 99%, to Democrats. That's obviously an extremely left-leaning group.
Anger and division works for the parties. It is so much easier for
Candace,
me to
what do you
beat
think?
Candace
What do you
by
think about
showing
what
that
he's
she's wrong than showing that I'm better.
What do you think about what he's saying?
I mean, everything he's saying sounds good. It's just not the Cuomo I remember on CNN. Remember CNN and you and your brother outside of CNN being really harsh on Trump supporters. And I don't mind that you've distanced yourself from that in a bit, but I think people would appreciate, acknowledging that period of time definitely did happen. And so I think that people watching it are watching right now are just going to be like, dude, come on.
But I'm not an apologist from the outlet. I only control what I say.
And you said a lot.
You can't name one thing that I said. And it was a mistake.
The only part that rings a little false is when you said, to my ear, that would have been unethical. And so you're someone who's been in the media your whole life at high levels, ABC News, Fox News, CNN, probably
News Nation,
and News Nation now. But because you've lived in that world, that ethics in the media are lower than they are among prostitutes. I think.
First of all, you got to live your own standard, right?
Okay, fair.
You got to live your own standard. And I believe in the media. And there's no question that's in peril.
So you're saying, to be clear, you believe in the idea of...
I believe in the idea.
Yeah.
And do people practice it that way? Not enough. Everything is imperfect. Everything that is human controlled is imperfect.